I ran through Moriel suburbs. Nero Island's feet had crushed an awful lot of houses, but they'd been evacuated in time and I didn't see any signs of a loss of life. I passed the rear legs, and as I drew closer to the middle legs I glanced at the deserted station and crossed the tracks. I could make out people scurrying around the front legs. Budogolka Academy appeared to be the centre of activity, probably because lots of people had already been gathered there. I slowed down, considering my approach, when the surface of the road next to me went poof, and I jumped. A gunshot? I dove off the road into a garden and hid behind a wall. I looked around, but didn't see anyone. Then 3 more bullets went moving from the road to the wall. I could feel the impacts on this side. Funk, funk. At last I realised they weren't coming from my level. Above me. I looked up and saw the coast of Nero Island above me. Someone was absently shooting at me. Nero Island's belly was a good 200 metres thick, so it was around 300 metres from here to the island surface. I couldn't make out the face of the guy shooting at me, but I thought I could hear him laughing. Scrunch, 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 the bullets kept coming, all hitting the other side of the wall, but if I stayed here he was bound to get lucky eventually. 3, 2, 1. I summoned my nerve and broke away from the wall. I threw myself onto the porch of the house. Boom, 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 boom. The hail of bullets followed after me, slamming into the roof, but once I was out of sight, he gave up. I laid low until I was sure the gunfire had stopped. I let myself breathe again, then figured I should at least check on the owners of the house, since they'd saved my life. I peered in through the window, but all was quiet, no signs of anyone there. I knocked on the window and looked out. There was no answer, except for a high-pitched whine coming this way, followed by a massive explosion. A house a few plots away had exploded into a pillar of fire. A rocket launcher? Was I in a fucking war zone? Wait, if they'd been aiming the gun at me, they must have been aiming that rocket at someone else. I jumped up and ran off the porch. Someone saw me go and hastily started shooting. Behind me and to either side I heard pew 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 pounding into the pavement. But at this distance, firing blind would never hit me if I kept moving. The rocket launcher probably couldn't get me either. I hoped whoever they were aiming that at was safe. There was a ton of smoke and plenty of fire left. As I drew near the impact site, I called out, "Hey, you alive?" "George," someone answered. "Over here." Koichi Hirose was hiding in the garage on the other side of the rubble. "Oh, good. You're not hurt?" "Nope. You?" "I'm fine." I ran into the garage too. "They might fire a second missile down, so we should keep moving," Hirose said. "They got a shitload of weapons." "Right." "Here, just think and he'll fly you there," Hirose said, and put Blue Thunder on my head too. We flew right out of the garage. This was even better than the Dolphins. I could really steer it at will with no hands. Every thought I had turned to action as if I was really flying on my own. But since the propeller was on my head, I couldn't shake the feeling that my neck hurt. It didn't. I followed after Hirose as we flew serpentine through the neighbourhood, flying just above the ground so as to better hide ourselves from the shooters on Nero Island. We dodged propane tanks and bicycles until we flew into a factory and found the Nijimura brothers. "Oh, you alive, George?" Fukushigi said. "What about Rohan and Remy?" Moriyotaisu asked. I let them know the 2 of them were safe inside Cube House inside our cross. I didn't mention Tsukumajuku just yet. "What's going on here?" I asked. None of them said anything immediately. Sensing the Nijimura brothers didn't want to admit they were in trouble, Hirose finally broke the silence. "Shock and awe. We're occupied and they're in control. While everyone was still in a panic because the island was stomping Morio flat, several standmasters with weapons came floating down and kidnapped all the exhausted, half-dead folks in the gym. One of them has a stand like a tornado, and it vacuumed them all up." "That was Docho Chocolata," NYPD Blue said. "I got the evidence." "Fuck, man! Don't just record shit, do something about it!" Fukushigi yelled. His voice was hoarse, and the yell was more anguished than angry. "Look," NYPD Blue said, "you ordered me to go into the Mafia HQ alone. I ain't the type to back down. Like I said, up to you." "You're just a punk kid. You talk big, but talk is cheap. You gotta grow up. Match your build. Pathetic." "Urgh! Damn it! Then what the fuck should I do?" I told you that too. Sit tight and wait. Diving empty-handed into a war you can't win ain't what a man does. It's what a fool who can't stand embarrassment does. For a man to sacrifice himself, he needs a better reason than shame. You gotta grin and bear it. Keep your mind flexible and wait for your moment. Fukushigi grit his teeth and went silent. Once they had hostages, all resistance ceased, Hiro said, resuming his explanation. They called for Mayor Shishimaru and made him their puppet. All orders from the mafia have been relayed through him. Right now they're dragging standmasters into the open, promising not to harm anyone who comes forward of their own accord. But if they have to find us, we'll be punished. In a very mafia-esque move, they're encouraging people to turn in anyone they know. They've got a number of people in the last hour alone. Our names may well come to light soon. So? I asked. Is that it? Nothing else has happened yet? Yeah. If they've got hostages and the mayor working for them and are hunting standmasters, they're still trying to get control. They're pretty far from getting us under their thumb completely. It just feels like they have. But really, they're still trying to get us in line. And they haven't let us know their real goal yet. Their real goal? You think they really want to occupy Morio? They're the mafia. There's no enemy mafia group here. They've got no vested interests in the town at all. I won't go so far as to say there's nothing here the mafia might be interested in. There's money and women. But everything that goes on in this town right now is being watched very closely. It's 2012. There are satellites chasing us around, manned and unmanned probes in the sky monitoring the town in real time. In the end, the mafia steel right now can't be spent. They can't launder it or hide it. They can't sell any women. They know that. And they know it's only a matter of time before someone with real power hits these two islands and occupies us for real. The barrier's already down. They did that themselves. It won't be much longer. Whatever it is they're really trying to do will come out soon. Something they can accomplish with all this going on. Something tiny that the satellites and aircraft won't ever notice, but something very important to them. Very important how? What can Morio people do for the mafia? Hiro asked. Our current theory is that Kira Yoshikage is moving this island, probably to escape from all the detectives descending on the town. It's a good theory. It's probably the truth. So something like that might be happening on their end. Will these psychos run from a detective? Probably not. It's a mafia island, and we saw them killing each other on Nero Island from Arrowcross Hill. Whatever these psychos are up to has something to do with trouble in the mob. Like NYPD Blue said, if the mafia are killing bystanders, either they're trying to kill the boss and cutting off his escape, or they already did it and are cleaning up, NYPD Blue said, repeating his own line. I did say that. Mafia headquarters are where the boss feels most safe, a place where even the non-criminals will protect him. For many, it's where they were born. They've dropped as much dough as they can there, greased the reels and can expect a good return. But now it's in chaos. Either they've killed the boss and are purging the last of anyone who'd come back on them, or they're trying to kill the boss and making sure he can't get any help from the locals, driving him into a corner. Either way, the boss dies, lots of people go with him. I was the first to break the silence. I don't know if NYPD Blue's theory is right or not, but it's clear the Mafia are attacking for a reason, which begs the question, why do the Mafia think whatever they're after will be here? Because they've done their homework on the place. Why would the Italian Mafia have even heard of Morio? Because Morio started swimming out to sea. That was all over the news, and something this weird's going to be broadcast in every country in the world. The Mafia would have seen it. They know a killer named Kira Yoshikage lived here, and know that several detectives were murdered here. When they saw Barrier Chimaru's press conference, I'd speculated there are other detectives here beside me. I based that speculation on solid grounds, but would the Mafia even need that? And as I considered this, I heard the same truck that had delivered the call to the town meeting broadcasting a new message through its loudspeaker. Would the detectives Daibeku Shokari, Runbaba 12, and Jorge Joestar please hurry to the Budogoku Academy garden? Huh? I thought, on several layers at once. They were summoning me by name? Daibeku Shokari and Runbaba 12 were both from Nishiakatsuki too. All three of us were Nishiakatsuki detectives? Why would all the detectives in Morio be from the same place, even though no other detectives had been able to get here? And the timing of this summons was too perfect. Well, timing always worked like that. Good or bad, things were always perfectly timed. Yikes, Fukushigi said. What do? Don't go. Wait for your moment. That was NYPD Blue's advice from a moment ago, so I laughed and called him a dipshit. Shut the fuck up, moron! NYPD Blue roared, so suddenly both Fukushigi and me snapped our mouths shut. See? Timing. I tried a different approach. Detectives don't back down at a time like this, I said. For them to know my name, I'd only told it to the 3 boys here and the 2 in the cube house. That means someone had done some digging and found my name. Kira Yoshikage. Had he sold me out to the mob? Was he waiting for his chance to strike? Interesting. I asked the Nishimoras and Hiros to provide whatever backup they could, went alone to Buddha Goku Academy's garden, and found the town residents gathered there, and a young Italian man in a well-tailored suit sitting on a chair in the centre, with Shishimaru Denta standing next to him. When Wamba 12 and Daibakusho Kari saw me, they smiled ruefully. They were both good-looking men, but had clearly been through some shit. Their shirts and pants were both soaking wet and ragged. Mine weren't much better. Hey there. Sup? You still alive? Didn't think we'd have a reunion yet. Seriously, what a pain. Let my curiosity get the better of me. Yeah, but if you were watching this on TV, you'd be kicking yourself. True, for sure. Fed up with us whispering to each other, the mafia dude kicked the table between us. I didn't jump, but man. Oh shit. 3 of us here. He don't need 2. Whoa, well, we don't need you. No, you, dipshit. Fud. This time he had his hand in his suit jacket. Maybe it was time to knock it off. His hair might be El Capa, but he didn't seem to speak Japanese. We, or at least I, spoke Italian, but it was a pain, so I asked Shishimura Denta. So, what's he want with us? I believe this, phone. Any minute now, someone will call this phone. I think. His head was swollen in weird places, so he must have put his own self on the line to protect the residents, so I forgave him. But there was no phone on the table he was pointing to. There was a filthy rubber ball and a right shoe and a pebble. Huh? But the pebble suddenly started ringing. Boom, 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 boom. It also vibrated. Oh, a stand, I said, and the other 2 looked surprised. What, George? You know what this thing is? What is it? How is it ringing? They didn't know about stands. They were in for a rough ride. But they'd pick it up fast enough, like I had. I picked up the pebble. It had a display and accept call button, so I pressed it and answered. Hello? To my surprise, the voice on the other end spoke Japanese. Hello. To my surprise, the voice on the other end spoke Japanese. Hello. Is that Jorge Joestar? A young man's voice. Yep. You? My name doesn't matter. You are English, born in Japan? I am. And you're Japanese, born in Italy? What's your business? I'm starting to like you. You are? Then come on down here. Let's talk face to face. Let's get down to business. You want to hire me? What do you mean? Hire me as a detective? I suppose. Then tell me the name of my client. As a detective, you let people use you, you end up in a sticky situation. Get used to that fact, you start turning down any jobs where the client's identity isn't clear. If you don't tell me, I'm hanging up. I waited a moment, then took the pebble away from my ear, and was about to hang up when I heard him laughing. A gentle, light laugh. Very well. My name is Shobana Haruno, Nikkei Italian. I usually go by Giorno Giovanna. Satisfied? Yes, thank you. Please proceed. I'd like you to look for someone. I don't know their real name. All I know is what they're called. Diavolo, the boss of the Passion family. Well, that was pretty much what I'd expected. Is this person a stand master? I asked. We believe so. But neither I or the other 2 detectives can use a stand, and we honestly know very little about them. We'll provide you with an assistant. We can't choose who? Didn't think so. The man with you is Bruno Buccioletti. His team will be working with you. He'll lead, I'll be in charge of communications, and the other 3 will each accompany one of you detectives. I see. Is there a time limit? No. But our current situation can't last forever. No matter what the situation, no matter what happens, you must find Diavolo. Understand me? no matter what. And if we can't, there's no need to consider that. I see. I was better off not thinking about it. Yeah. So, Jorge Joestar, I look forward to your success. He hung up. Bruno Bucciolati stood up and spoke to me in Italian. You speak Italian, don't you? Shit, I thought, which was clearly a mistake. He laughed. I can smell and taste lies. Remember that. Even if you keep something hidden, the taste and scent may be weaker, but that's still a lie. 3 dangerous-looking Italians came up behind him. They were all young. So, I said, I do speak Italian, but... Bucciolati looked at the other 2. You both speak Italian as well, detectives? Both Dai Bakusho Curry and Rumba 12 nodded. Si. High-level communication was a necessity in our line of work. Bucciolati assigned each of us one of his men. Dai Bakusho Curry got Leone Baccio. Tall with stern features, he loomed over that not especially tall Dai Bakusho Curry. Rumba got Guido Mister, well-built with a hat. Apparently he smelled a bit, since Rumba 12 sniffed once, made a face and kept his distance. I was assigned Narancha Gurga. He was about the same age as me with a boyish face, but the way he fixed me with a menacing glare suggested he was well aware of how young he looked. Don't fuck with me, he hissed, and he made sure I knew he had a knife on him too. Clearly he was the most dangerous of this group. So, time to go investigate. I kept the pebble, Curry took the rubber ball, and 12 the orphan shoe. Rumba 12 tried to convince us to trade with him, but Bucciolati roared, Enough! And I looked at Narancha and saw someone standing next to him. It was Tsukumajuku. He grinned at me. Hey, I'm your instrument. A person needs your help. I'll take you to them. He grabbed my shoulder. Yo, what the fuck? Narancha yelled, pushing me aside and pointing his knife at Tsukumajuku. In that instant we jumped. Whoops, brought an anomaly along, but it all means something, I'm sure. Bye. Tsukumajuku vanished, leaving me and Narancha. On the H.G. Wells, an American spacecraft launched by NASA, passing around the dark side of Mars on its journey to the Red Planet, about to make a new discovery. Namely that, in addition to Phobos and Deimos, Mars had a previously undetected third moon. Previously undetected, because Mars had always been between it and the Earth. End of chapter 8.
Ah! It's the halfway point of the show!